There is no denying that when we examine the entire Skywalker saga, specifically the sequel trilogy I want to focus on here, is that there's a lot of problems within The Last Jedi and even The Rise of Skywalker in segments that a lot of Star Wars fans had with by Disney and Lucasfilm. This is Mike Zero. Make sure to subscribe if you are new to the channel for future Star Wars content. Now, I'm sure you're all very well aware that just 2 days ago, we got the big news that Disney's CEO Bob Iger was stepping down and that Bob Chapek will be taking over the role as CEO to handle everything Star Wars, Marvel, and more. And the future of Star Wars is actually starting to seem a little bit brighter because of all the changes that are being made by Disney and over at Lucasfilm. So Disney is currently cleaning house over at Lucasfilm by adding in new creatives, by canceling some projects and moving forward with some of the new projects that are currently in the works. Now, some of those projects that were canceled were primarily created by Kathleen Kennedy. And to me, I think it's a great move, the fact that they are trying to focus away from what Kathleen Kennedy had full creative control over, to now that, of course, creators like Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, and George Lucas are all approving and becoming a part of on a creative level to some extent for this new Star Wars universe that's going to evolve throughout this entire decade. So, with that being said, what's really intriguing about all of this is that now that both Disney and Lucasfilm are finished with The Rise of Skywalker, they are focused on their new Star Wars universe as well as their new Star Wars trilogy of films to be released in the near future, where it's explained that Disney and Lucasfilm have major plans in order to reunite the fans around the world, and that a big part of those plans have to do with Disney cleaning house over at Lucasfilm. Now, it's described that Disney's new CEO, Bob Chapek, has a big plan in place to bring back a majority of Star Wars Legends material, and that Bob wants Dave Filoni to handle the creative end of bringing back Star Wars Legends into the mix for the future of Star Wars. Now, it's explained that this plan for Dave Filoni to fix the Star Wars franchise has to do with Disney wanting to create a better future for Star Wars. Not just that, but Bob Chapek, the new CEO of Disney, is allowing Dave Filoni to develop stories based within the Old Republic era, as well in order to create a brand new era of Star Wars. However, it's unclear if that has to do with live-action projects or a publishing plan by Disney. However, Dave Filoni is also said to be doing something very unexpected for Star Wars fans by retelling aspects of the entire sequel trilogy for this new Star Wars expanded universe, and that Dave Filoni will also be working closely with George Lucas with a handful of projects for this new Star Wars expanded universe. Dave Filoni is said to be handling the Old Republic era sometime in 2021 next year, and that he will also be handling a brand new era that takes place after Episode 9 with Jon Favreau as well, in order to create endless Star Wars material for the future to come. Now, this is Disney's way of trying to save the Star Wars franchise and for Dave Filoni to show exactly what he can really do with Star Wars lore. So, I don't know if you guys really know Dave Filoni, I'm sure a lot of you do, but Dave Filoni has great history with George Lucas. You know, they both worked on the Clone Wars seasons 1 through 6, and George Lucas approved a lot of Dave Filoni's ideas. And that's exactly why George Lucas trusted Dave Filoni, because Dave knows Star Wars lore. It's the main reason as to why the Clone Wars is a very, very good series. And now that of course season 7, I should say, has actually kicked off a couple of days ago on the 21st, a lot of fans have been very excited about what's to come after this by Dave Filoni. And Dave Filoni even said this recently at an interview where he said he's working on multiple different areas right now. And this definitely falls directly in with this, of how he's working on the Old Republic era and multiple stories for that, and how Bob Chapek has a lot to do with this, and how he's also working with Jon Favreau to retelling aspects of the sequel trilogy to make things right, and to also explore a brand new era that takes place after Episode 9. So, I think that there's a very interesting dynamic here between Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni. Dave Filoni, like I say, he's really good at the Star Wars lore and stuff, but Jon Favreau, I don't know about you guys, but to me, he is a true visionary. I mean, Bob Iger himself even said that he sees a lot of George Lucas within him. The Mandalorian, is good for what it is because Jon Favreau wrote this thing. I mean, Jon Favreau is the man who created the MCU. I mean, there's no other way to really put it. He literally created the MCU. He's the man who made Iron Man 1 happen back in 2008. So Iron Man was a big success back in 2008, and it really kickstarted the MCU. And if it weren't for Jon Favreau, I don't know, if the MCU would have started off as strong as it did. So the fact that he's going to also be a part of working with Dave Filoni on this new Star Wars universe, not just for TV shows, books, novels, etc., but also for movies. It also just tells us that they're trying to become as successful as the MCU is. So hopefully they will be. So anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.
From night to moon.